Good morning. We're back in Kom Ombo today. My throat's a bit funny today, losing my voice. Must have been that Nubian show last night. But we're about to go on shore and go to Kom Ombo temple. We're walking this time, we're on foot, so it's not very far. The vendors here were particularly persistent, but more on that later. Kom Ombo Temple has some of the best preserved carvings of any temple in Egypt. Many are like 3D images. The detailed images of toes, fingernails, the 8 cobras on the pharaoh's kilt, the cheekbones and the ribs of the lion depicted eating the arms of Egypt's enemies were really incredible. Some of the paintwork is still intact too. The Egyptians had 3 seasons: harvest, flood, and planting, and kept meticulous record of dates.
The crescent of the moon was number 3, so month number 3. The columns are open, so that's a harvest. Day number 1.
What was really unique and interesting about Kom Ombo Temple were the hieroglyphics depicting ancient Egyptian medical surgeries.
In front of Imhotep, the god of medicine. The first thing you will see, that's where they purify their hands before the surgery. And if you look here, you find numbers like 10 and 10 and 100, that's like a recipe. Then here you can see the surgical instrumental board there. You can see these cups, the air cups or the suction cups that we're still using in different countries till now. That's a papyrus prescription. Scissors, stones for the delivery, sponge, 2 needles, that's like small knives. And the top forceps, dispenser. Here that's made out of leather, they have the liquids, the medicine. A scale to weigh the medicine. That's to grain the seeds and burn incense, and another knife. A drill for the brain surgery. Spoons, hook, the eye of Horus to burn the incense. Saw to cut the bones. Long drill, knife to cut the bones. A tuning fork to check the ears and knees. To give any medicine in ancient Egypt, you must put the stamp of Horus. What is the stamp of Horus? The eye of Horus. That the Greek started drawing the eye, but easier way, it became like that. Then that became the R letter that we have at all the prescriptions till now. You wanna be pregnant? Oh, touch the baby. So that's because of touching since the ancient time. So that's why it's black.
Here you can see how the temple builders were able to hold the stones together without cement. They would cut wedge-shaped grooves into the stones and join them using cedar wood. You can see here an example of preserved cedar wood.
Cedar wood from Lebanon become as hard as a stone.
So at the end of each tour, we get a bit of free time going around the temples or what we're seeing. That we always meet back at the Coca-Cola temple, just over here. Where my habit takes a break.
Wait for us.
Patiently.
Crocodiles were considered sacred and were mummified and worshipped as manifestations of the god Sobek, who symbolized power, fertility, and protection. As we headed back to the boat, it was time to run the gauntlet of the vendors again. These vendors were particularly persistent. Even saying no, thank you in Arabic didn't dissuade them.
لا لا شكرا. لا لا شكرا. لا شكرا. لا شكرا.
10 pieces for 5.
لا لا شكرا.
You want to priceless Cinderella?
لا لا شكرا.
Speak Arabic?
A little bit.
Huh?
Lunchtime. For a starter, I'm having this 2 salads. This one seems to be avocado and cheese. It's delicious. And then I've got some hummus, some of this gorgeous looking bread to dip in the hummus.
Yep.
We've left Kom Ombo and we're just sailing the rest of the day back to Luxor. So we thought this would be a good time to give you a tour of the Karma Karnak boat. So we've already showed you our room, but I thought it's worth mentioning that they've done another beautiful arrangement with the towels today. Crocodile, since we were visiting the temple of the crocodile god Sobek. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that there's 3 decks on the boat. There's actually 4 decks, but we're on the second deck. The lower deck is the crew cabins, and at the very end is the spa with the massage and a sauna, where Phil went the other day for his massage. So we're on deck 2. So let's go out and take a look. So our cabin 204 is quite near the front of the boat. There's another couple of cabins. I don't think anyone's in there. We're not at capacity this week. I think we're about half capacity. Capacity is about 90 passengers. Yeah, and we're just beside the cleaning cupboard there, doing the rooms just now. So got all the towels and things.
Good. Good, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
On this deck we have cabins 201 to 216, and then this is the reception area, and this is also where we meet for our tours each day. It has doors on both sides of this deck, so you might wonder why does it have doors on both sides, but when we're docked we're usually stacked up like 3 or 4 boats in a row, so the passengers from the other boats have to come through to get onto the shore, so that's why we have doors on both sides. So this is the stair going down to the crew cabins and also to the spa. And then over here is the restaurant. So the restaurant's open for an hour and a half for each meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, set times. And everyone has a set table. We'll go and have a look while it's quiet. So this has been our table for the duration of the cruise. That's our room number. Yeah, so this is the restaurant, and we'll film a meal later. Tonight is Egyptian dinner, so we'll get some shots of that later on. Just one other thing to mention in the restaurant is that we have a water dispenser here which is available 24 hours, so you can come refill your bottle. They gave us a big bottle at the start, so we can come in and just refill our water whenever we want, completely free. Okay, let's head up to deck 3. On deck 3 here we've got Bishu, the videographer. He's editing his videos from the week. There's also public WC over there. And there's the shop. Mina, the shopkeeper. You can buy lots of souvenirs from the shop here. And then through here is the lounge. So this is where we can chill out, and this is where the show last night, like the Nubian show, and I think tonight we have a Galabya party. And over here, so this is the tea and coffee station, free tea and coffee all day till 11 p.m. and also the bar, so you can buy extra alcoholic drinks and soft drinks here. And there's some games. So the rest of the guest cabins are here, 301 to 323. And then we'll head up these stairs to the sun lounge. On the sun deck, we've got this lounge area where you can sit in the shade. There's a bar here. At 4 p.m. on sailing days, we have afternoon tea up here. And then the other side of the sun deck, got the sun loungers. You get your towels from here. And then here is the swimming pool. So it's quite windy here at the front, but yeah, we've got the Karma Group flag up there, and then just down here we can see the boat. little boat. As you can see, it's not very big. We've been able to get to know the boat, but also it's not been very busy. As I said, it's at half capacity, about 40 passengers this week. So you never have a problem finding a sun lounger or a place to sit in the lounge. So yeah, it's been really chill, really relaxed. We've got to know a lot of the other guests. Yeah, we've got another day, 2 nights in Luxor, and then we'll be checking out on Thursday. This is my Egyptian main course. So this is called koshari, and it seems to be a mixture of rice and noodles and some chickpeas. Is it onion? Yeah, I think it's onion. And then this one was called mashi, and it's like some kind of vegetable stuffed with rice. I think it's aubergine. Looks like aubergine. And then this one is goulash with cheese. Different from Hungarian goulash. And then some potatoes. Time to try some Egyptian desserts. So this is sweet potato, which I've never had that as a dessert before, with molasses on it. This is a fresh date, which I've heard like you have to try fresh dates in Egypt because, you know, in the UK we only get like dried ones, and they say like the ones in Egypt, the fresh ones are much better. And then we've got this cake, which I'm not sure what it is. I'll let you know in a moment. And then these balls, they're like fried dough, and it's called Galabya. And then it's sprinkled with icing sugar, honey, and coconut. I'm looking forward to trying all of that. So I'm gonna try this one first, see what it is. It's kind of like a polenta cake, I would say. You know, like that kind of rough consistency, and very sweet coconut, sweeter than I thought it was going to be, and moist, quite moist. That's really good. Sweet potato with molasses. Really nice. I wouldn't have thought of sweet potato as a sweet, but there you go. And let's try the galabia. It's a bit like a tiny donut, but it's crispier than a donut. So let's try a fresh date. It's still it's quite dry, even though it's like a fresh one. It's almost, you think it was a dry one, But yeah, obviously dates grow in the desert, so they don't have a lot of moisture, so they're not going to be a really juicy fruit. But it's so sweet, it's very super sweet, syrupy, yeah, and thick.
Okay, I have 2 winners. I need a big hand for the 2 of them. Come have a
What's your prize, Phil?
drink. Just a drink.
Oh, you got your drink.
Big hand for them, please.
Feels good.
Yeah.
So these are the statues of Memnon, which comes from a Greek god. Because apparently some Greek soldiers were sleeping here. They were drunk, and then they heard some whistling, like sad singing at sunrise. So they named it after their god Memnon, Agamemnon. But it turns out that the singing came from a crack in the statue, and when the wind whistled through the crack, it would make the singing sound.
The Valley of the Kings on the west bank of the Nile, across from modern-day Luxor, was the burial place for most of Egypt's New Kingdom rulers. It was chosen because of its location, in a narrow valley surrounded by steep cliffs, beneath a mountain that resembled a pyramid. It contains at least 63 tombs that have been discovered so far.
This is the tomb of Ramses IV.
The tomb of the imagination was 2 parts. The first part, the antechamber. All the scenes on it, daily life scenes of the king. His lifetime, showing his strength, his power. That will take you to the corridor or the passageway. This passageway or corridor, that's our way from earth to go to heaven. If we go to heaven, we have 2 ways to go to heaven. Either walking or sailing. If we walk through 12 gates up, stages like that. And at each gate you'll find the guard. Who's the guard? This is snake. The snake have 3 heads. That's a 3-headed snake. 2 legs, 4 legs, 2 wings. So you have to give him a right password to go through this gate. That means you need a guide to be with you. Who will be your guide? The jackal. That will take you to heaven. That's why the mountain, to be like a stairway to go to heaven. That's why the pyramid. The language was picture, if you remember. The mountain is, and the pyramid is, stairway, and they used to draw the stairway like this to go to heaven. What is the heaven? The house of Ra. So I can draw house and Ra. Let's do the transliteration on it. Like, let's pronounce it in hieroglyphic. House in hieroglyphic is Bir. What's the name of this god? Ra. Stairs in hieroglyphic is meat. Read it from the top to the bottom.
Meat.
Bir Ra meat or pyramid. So this is pyramid.
Yeah, the top.
Yeah.
Looks like a skull.
and this U letter is like the face and the body.
yeah, all the way along.
And there is the pyramid here.
يا حبيبي
Thank you.
رمسيس 1 تيجي كوين يا حبيبي
شكرا.
So this is the tomb of Ramses the First. It's very deep. Going down now, lots of steps.
That will take you to the burial chamber. What we have in the burial chamber, everything the king likes in his lifetime and wanted to be with him in his second life. His treasures, his furniture. Servants, but they don't kill servants. Whenever you go to the museum, you'll find a small statues called Oshaptins, represent his servants. 180 to the right, 180 to the left, so 360 serving the king each day of the year. Oh, the year was 360 years, 5 days feasting.
And sixth. Pay 200 Egyptian extra for this one. But our Egyptologist said it's worth paying the extra for this one because it's got the best colours of all the tombs. So hopefully we'll be able to capture the colours inside.
The second way is sailing. If we sail at the boat of God called the God Kom Ombo, the creator. He's like a ram. 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours in the evening. So you'll find a lady, that's her head, that's her arms, and that's her legs. So it's like bending, like half circle. Protecting the two ways, sailing in a boat and walking. After the death of the king, you will find one of the priests wearing the mask of the jackal, starting by the nose and mouth to get the brain out, then small hole to get the rest of the internal organs to put inside 4 canopic jars made out of alabaster. They leave just one thing inside the body, the heart. Why? For the final judgment. Why the heart? The only part of your body that you cannot lie with is your heart.
Such a long walk down here. All down to the sarcophagus over there. It's just amazing the colours that are here.
So many places for Alabaster.
From now you have your guide. He knows more, he's from here.
Just I give you a brief idea about the stone and then we go inside the gallery, okay? So the best stone in Egypt, alabaster. Alabaster we come 3 different colors. White, brown alabaster. The best color unique, it's green alabaster. For example, we make it handmade jar. So how to make it handmade vase? So first step here, we cut the stones and the shape it in sand hammer, we make it different form. Faster! Yalla yalla, faster! Stop, thank you. Before you make a hole inside, we protect the vase in Egyptian cotton and linen. And then we put it on the ground, I be worked by hand draw inside the vase. Work. Stop. Thank you, Egyptian Rambo. And then we take off the material, I leave it today on the sun, you make very strong, and then we start different parts like this one, hard and soft and medium. Last step, I put it in a vase in Egyptian oven, 25 minutes, very high degrees, and after that we clean in beeswax. Wow! You can put it in the oven? No women, no cry. Where are you from?
Scotland.
Nice to meet me. Scottish, nice whiskey. I love whiskey.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's the best whiskey in the world.
This is Egyptian Picasso. You work the limestone, exactly same what you found inside the tombs. All the walls are from the tombs, limestone. First here we cut the stone. After that you draw it by pen or the pencil. And then we have different chisel. Look what you do. You know what's this picture? What is this?
You said zodiac.
No. No. This is zodiac calendar. 2% discount for your action. Brown alabaster. Wow. Oh, 5% discount. A green alabaster. Wow. 10% discount. And this is special for a candle, tea light. Wow. Sorry, no more discount.
The next stop was Hatshepsut's temple. Hatshepsut was a queen who ruled as a king after the death of her husband, Thutmose II. She adopted the title of pharaoh and ruled for more than 2 decades. This mortuary temple is considered the greatest of all her many achievements throughout Egypt.
Our last stop of the day and our last stop of the whole cruise. It is Valley of the Queens. I've got about a 10-minute walk up to the tombs. Let's go. Phil's hanging out with our monkey friend.
Yeah, my God, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Yusri.
Sorry?
Yusri.
Yosri.
Yes,
Okay, nice to meet you. Thank you very much for everything this week. Okay, bye.
As the sun sets on our final day of our 7-day Nile cruise, we're going to let you know what our final thoughts were on our experience with Karma Karnak. We've packed up mostly. We've had our last dinner. We had a last show in the lounge, belly dancing, and what's that other dancing?
I don't know.
I forgot what it's called, but yeah.
I'll show you.
So that was good. My voice is still a bit husky, so I'm going to try and keep this short. So let's start with pros about this cruise. So I think the biggest pro is the friendliness and the attention of all the staff on board. Everyone has been amazing, from our housekeeping, the waiting staff in the restaurant, reception, the Karma reps, the management team are always visible, they're always around. Our Egyptologist, Mohammed, he was outstanding. His enthusiasm for his work, you can see he really just loves what he's telling you. He's just excited to tell you about what he's seeing, and for you to feel that too. So that would be pro number 1.
So my pro is the comfort of the boat. It's an older boat. It's been bought over, But when we've been cruising down the river, we have no idea that the boat's moving or not moving. If you're not looking out the window, you don't know. You can't even hear the engine. We're right down the front. There's one other room at the front. I can't even tell that we're moving half the time. So I think that's really great. It's the river as well. It's the water in the river. It's a very calm river because of the dam. There's no change in the water level, etc., or the flow rate. But just really comfortable boat to be on. When it's been moving at night time, you can just sleep. Really comfortable boat.
Pro number 3. So the other guests have been lovely. Everyone's been so friendly. I think I mentioned that we're the only non-Indians, but we haven't felt like the odd ones out. They haven't made us feel left out. They've included us when I was on my own, when Phil was sick. They really took me under their wing. So we've really felt part of like a family. And that's what they've been saying to us, Karma is like a family. And that's part of the experience is when you stay in one of their resorts, you've got this family. It's not just some random people that you're next to. And there's been very little drama, I'll say, like nothing compared to, what you can get on like a ship of like 2,500, 3,000 people, So more pros?
Great food.
Mm-hmm.
Really good food. It along with the pros, small con is a little bit difficult for me as being gluten intolerant.
Mm.
So, but the staff were good with that. Whenever we went in, the manager saw me and he went, okay, this has flour, that doesn't have flour, you can have this, you can have that. And then they made specific things like some of the desserts, or they would take the chicken that had some flour in the sauce, the gravy, and they would go cook it separate and put the vegetables and things with it. So they did cater to it. My view of it is it's an afterthought, but they did do it, so which was really appreciated. But yeah, so great food overall as well. Tons of flavour and all the food. Good choice. Comfy beds.
Yeah, the bed has been very comfortable.
It's what you want. Comfy bed.
And although the cabin is small, you're not spending a lot of time in here. Oh, which brings me on to my next one. Can I do another one? So the tours, like the reason that you come on a Nile cruise, it's to see Egypt, it's to see the temples, it's to see the tombs, the Valley of the Kings, it's to do all of that stuff. And that has been definitely the highlight of the trip is the tours. It's been tiring, I think that's why I'm, losing my voice. We've been out every day. Some days have been a bit more relaxed. We've maybe only had one temple to visit. Other days we've had very early starts, 6 a.m. or 4 a.m. even. But it has been worth it to get to see everything. And we've done all the tour. We did the full package through Karma. So we didn't have to organize our own tour guides, our own drivers, buy our tickets. We didn't have to do anything. And I think that's great. Like for a first time in Egypt, if you don't know what you're doing, you could get a little bit caught out because there are scammers, there are people try to get money. So we felt like we've been protected. We're always in the group. We've always got our Egyptologist there. He will tell us like, the traders here, they're very pushy, just ignore them. He tells you when there's places, like the inside shops that he's taken us to, like the perfumery, the Alabaster place today. He'll say, that's where to get your genuine, if you want to get things, that's where to get it,
And importantly with that, he'll tell you when it's a good toilet or not a good toilet, because you have to pay for the toilets, which is a small fee. It's just got to have the cash on you. But he'll say, oh, no, this is not a good one. Let's go to the next one, if you can hold it.
Okay, so shall we go on to cons?
Not a lot.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, you leave comments at the end of the tour on what you thought of the cruise and what you suggest. And just a small thing that for me is just a little bit of modernization. For example, the TV, it's a sufficient TV, but it's just a bit old and it's a bit, and some of the connections and things just look old, and the bathroom as well. But nothing's unclean, nothing's falling to bits. It's just a little bit, maybe a little bit of investment in that, but it didn't affect the comfort of the experience at all. But it's just the aesthetics, that's all.
Yeah, another thing I'd say as a con was that sometimes the crew didn't always understand what we were requesting. Like one morning, like an omelette for Phil with no cheese, and one for me with no tomato. And we were in a hurry that morning. We had an early tour, so I had gone up to order the food before Phil came. When they brought the omelets, they both had tomato and cheese. But yeah, we were literally about to leave there. Oh, we'll make another one. But I said, oh, sorry, we don't have time. So we had to just go without having the omelets. But yeah, just a few little things like that where they just misunderstood what we were asking. Any more cons? This is our first river cruise. So I don't know if this is like a general thing with all river cruises, but I feel like when we did like an ocean cruise with NCL, you always got announcements every day from the captain. He would tell you what the schedule was. He would tell you, you know, maybe about things we were going to see, what we were passing that day. But on this cruise, we didn't get anything like that. We had a daily schedule posted, you know, with times for breakfast and what time our tours were and things like that. But just like, for example, when we were sailing, you know, we were passing some like ruins of temples that we weren't going to stop and visit, but it just would have been nice to have like an announcement saying, oh, hey, if you go on deck right now and you look to like the starboard side, or if you look out your cabin on your starboard side, you know, you'll see this ruin, or even when we were at the lock at Esna, a bit of explanation, because we went up to watch us going through the lock, but then it was like a couple of hours before we actually went through. So just a bit of like, oh, we're going to have to wait for a while. Maybe you can go have dinner and come back later if you want to watch. I don't know. Maybe anyone who's done a river cruise, is that something that they do on other cruises maybe? Or I think the biggest con, and this isn't to do with Karma Karnak, and this isn't to do with river cruising, but this is to do with holidaying in Egypt, is the constant hassle from the vendors.
As much as we got a lot of help from Mohammed, our Egyptologist, to remind us just to keep away from them, but you'll see some shots, or you will have seen some shots already, but it's just frustrating. You just want to grab them and tell them how to be a good salesperson. And I would actually probably buy something off them if they let me look, if they don't touch me and throw things on me. Yeah.
It was just every temple, every site that you went to, you had to walk through the market. It's like they set it up so that you have to do that.
It's terrible sales.
So basically you can just put your head down and just go. Like you just have to go. You feel like you're being rude. Like you try to say no, thank you. But even if you like make eye contact, you know, they'll start talking to you. They'll start, where are you from? You know, I learned a few words of Arabic, so I was just saying, you know, la la shukran. Like la la shukran, it means no, thank you. It works sometimes, but other times they would be like, oh, you speak Arabic, or they would sort of, you know, they would start talking to you more. It worked a bit better with like the children, you know, the younger ones. But yeah, by the end of the week, it was getting quite tiring. Like today we did 4 different sites, and each time you're going in, you're coming out, and you're having to just run this gauntlet. And even on the ship when we were cruising, and you're just chilling on the sun deck, and the next thing you said, hello, and they're in a boat pulling up next to you, and they're throwing things up on the deck to try and get you to buy stuff. So it is relentless. You just have to be strong, and you have to be like, no, you have to know when you're going to buy what you want to buy, and just ignore it. Yeah, I mean, it's getting late, so we're going to call it a night for now. And tomorrow we are heading off on another flight. We're going to Cairo. So catch up with you in the morning. Bye.